J.K. Rowling describes Dumbledore and Grindelwald's relationship as passionate, but was one of the world's darkest wizards really capable of falling in love?
A world where we wizards were free to live openly, to love freely.
Albus Dumbledore's relationship with Gellert Grindelwald is one of the most complex romances in the entire Harry Potter universe, but there are still so many questions about their love affair left unanswered. We know we can expect these forbidden lovers to duel in one of the upcoming Fantastic Beasts films, but we know so little about how they get there. Their blood pact may have signified an unwillingness to become enemies, or was it really just Grindelwald's manipulation claiming another victim? Is there significance behind why they didn't perform the unbreakable vow? And while J.K. Rowling says their relationship was passionate, is there any chance that we'll actually get to dive deeper into the romance in the final 3 films?
Dumbledore's got style.
Dumbledore was born in 1881 and grew up in Godric's Hollow with his sister, Ariana, and his brother, Aberforth. Grindelwald was born around 1883, and while Dumbledore was attending Hogwarts, he was studying at Drumstrang Institute. Well, before he got expelled at the age of 16 for performing twisted experiments. We know that Dumbledore first met Grindelwald after experiencing a family tragedy. In 1899, Dumbledore's mother became the victim of an outburst from his sister, Ariana. Dumbledore returned to Godric's Hollow to be with his family, and it's there that he met Grindelwald, who was studying the Deathly Hallows.
What is it?
Well, it's the sign of the Deathly Hallows, of course.
Dumbledore quickly became interested in Grindelwald's controversial ideas, which led to the two of them bonding over the search for the Hallows. Their plan was to use them to become unstoppable. From there, they could overturn the Ministry and do what manipulative dark wizards do, use their power to rule over Muggles and say it was all for the greater good. It was Dumbledore's brother Aberforth who became concerned with Dumbledore's ambitions, though there's no evidence he knew that romantic love was one of the reasons for his brother's fascination with Grindelwald. Aberforth's suspicions resulted in a 3-way duel between Aberforth, Dumbledore, and Grindelwald, and when Ariana tried to interfere, she fell victim to a rogue curse. To whom the curse belonged is still unknown, but Grindelwald immediately fled. While it's clear Dumbledore supported Grindelwald's message for a while, what is it exactly that caused him to change his mind? Of course, there was the loss of his sister, as well as Grindelwald's willingness to fight Dumbledore's siblings in the first place. The duel likely showed Dumbledore that trust was broken between the two wizards. Dumbledore probably viewed the duel as a betrayal, but Grindelwald may have seen Dumbledore protecting his family as a betrayal as well. J.K. Rowling insists that there was a passionate, intimate side to the wizards' relationship, even calling it incredibly intense, but that in writing, she was a lot less concerned with that and more focused on their emotional journeys. A lot of the emotional turmoil is caught up in the fact that the two wizards, once incredibly bonded, were no longer able to support each other's choices. When Dumbledore sees Grindelwald in the Mirror of Erised, it's clear that there's a deep longing there. It shows us our heart's deepest desires, so there's no doubt that Dumbledore feels an unbreakable bond with the Dark Wizard. Dumbledore's admission that he and Grindelwald
We were closer than brothers.
further confirms that Grindelwald meant a lot to him, and his lie to Harry about seeing socks in the mirror also points out that the bond is much more than he'd like to admit. Dumbledore's admission to Harry about seeing himself and Grindelwald as young leaders of the Revolution is definitely a part of the reason he won't face him. He feels he will be tempted to join him if he lets himself get too close.
I cannot move against Grindelwald. It has to be you.
On the other hand, he could be forced to eliminate him, which would make Dumbledore feel even worse. So the blood pact the two wizards made is not the only thing keeping them apart, but it is symbolic of all these emotional complications. The timing of the blood pact is unknown, but it's likely it was made before the duel that took Ariana. If that's the case, then Dumbledore might also be running from his own responsibility in facing Grindelwald again, and the possibility that the rogue curse that claimed his sister was actually his fault.
Did he ever mention my name? Did he ever mention hers?
A blood pact is a magically binding agreement that involves two people cutting their hands with their wands, interlacing them, and making an oath. Two glowing drops of blood rise from their palms and become one. A vial forms around the drop, enclosing it, and becomes almost impossible to break. We know that in 1927, Grindelwald possessed the vial from his pact with Dumbledore, though we have no idea how long he had it for. Grindelwald held on to it to protect it from Dumbledore attempting to find a way to destroy it. That is until Newt Sniffler got its paws on it. The thing about the Blood Pact is that while it meant that Dumbledore couldn't go against him, it also meant that Grindelwald's hands were tied. The Blood Pact signifies a lot of problems for the two wizards, so why didn't they use the unbreakable vow? The vow would have made it impossible for one to move against the other. But the problem with the vow is that it's very one-sided. There's an imbalance of power because one person swears to the other to uphold their promise or face unbearable pain. Dumbledore and Grindelwald might have made a blood pact because they truly care about each other. Since both are equally bound to the oath, it suggests that they saw each other as equals. The two ultimately fight in a legendary duel in 1945 when Dumbledore gains possession of the Elder Wand. As for how that became possible, in The Crimes of Grindelwald, Dumbledore says that he may be able to destroy the vial that binds them.
Can you destroy it?
Maybe.
But it all comes down to one question. Were Dumbledore and Grindelwald really in love with each other? In 2005, Rowling said of Dumbledore, "I see him as isolated, and a few people have said to me, rightly I think, that he is detached. We know eventually he defeats Grindelwald, but we don't know how he breaks the pact. We don't even know the words used in the oath. But from what we know of his character and what Rowling has said about his loneliness, we know that whatever Dumbledore had with Grindelwald affected his entire life, even after finally defeating him."
The teenager received a wound from which Dumbledore never recovered.
There was definitely some love on his side, and he never truly forgot about what he shared with Grindelwald. On the other hand, what we know of Grindelwald is decidedly not loving. He's incredibly powerful, easily manipulates people, and exploits their vulnerabilities. He's a mastermind in all senses of the word. It's possible that Grindelwald never felt anything for Dumbledore. He just wanted to take advantage of his mind and use him to find the Deathly Hallows. At the end of The Crimes of Grindelwald, he even replaces one Dumbledore with another.
Aurelius, Dumbledore.
Still, we can't deny that the two wizards were very similar when they were young. They wanted to reshape the wizarding world. They thirsted for power, and they were both brilliant. They supported and understood each other. For Grindelwald, that might have been love, and keeping the blood pact could have had sentimental value along with practicality. If Dumbledore had not changed his mind, perhaps they would have been the most powerful dark wizards in history, and maybe they would have sincerely loved each other through it all. Grindelwald may still even admire Dumbledore after his defeat. When faced with Voldemort, he seems to take some satisfaction in being able to say that Dumbledore has the Elder Wand.
The Elder Wand
Lies with him, Dumbledore.
With 3 movies left in the series, there's hope that the romantic relationship between the two powerful wizards will become more obvious. J.K. Rowling has teased the relationship a lot, but there's still no explicit proof in any of the films that it was romantic. What we find out might change everything we think about their relationship, but for now, we can only speculate on the wizarding world's most mysterious love affair. How do you think Grindelwald really felt about Dumbledore? Would you like to see a more personal look at their relationship? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Plus, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to The Things for more. Thanks for watching!